Okay, so let's get into the trade of the day for today. I think it's August 5th. If you want to use the same indicator, you can go to my Discord, check it out. The indicator inputs every single day. Indicator link, it's going to have the indicator link and a video explaining it. Trade of the day is where I'm going to post these videos with the best trade of the day using the indicator. So let's get into it. So today was another really clean day. Right at market open, you can see we get a push off of this put wall. Let me get this out the way. As soon as market opens, we get a small rejection off this put wall. So I'm noticing that. Kind of chop around it for a little bit. Let's see, how many points would that have been? So 50-point move down. Right now, the table is showing that we are in a trending market. So wherever we break out to, we're likely to trend in that direction. The positive gamma environment kind of contradicts that, where we're in now like a mean reverting kind of context. And the suggested setup and model is a break and retest. As you can see, these don't all align. That's why that conflict is flagged under the break and retest. But let's take a look here. So we get that first retest of the put wall. And also, if you look at the top right, we're now ranging. So again, it's not a static chart. The ranging market regime aligns a lot more with the positive gamma as well. The break and retest off of the put wall could have been a good break-even trade if you were targeting the session highs, current session highs. As you can see, we're starting to continue that pattern, but we don't really hold as we're not moving off of anything too significant, just key openings and moving averages. As you can see, we were kind of chopping when the indicator alerted us that we were in a range regime, but now that we've broken out and chosen the direction, we're back in that trend regime. We're also back at that flip point where the gamma flips from positive to negative. Just below that, we have another important level, this level right here, this kind of zone where we have that call wall in the first AM, EM. So let's see, I think this is about, 14? So 15 points, just about. This is going to be a really important zone, especially if we do decide to break below the this zone right here, the flip zone. You guys to notice, as we break below, look, it changes from negative to positive, and then once we break back below, see this here, just get it so we're below. We're back in that negative gamma regime. And now, as you can see, we're also back in that range as the gamma changes, which makes this fade, the long off of this, more probable. Overall, it is kind of going against the indicator to long this because we are in a break and retest environment. We'd want to stick with that model. As you can see, we kind of chop up around, trade up, and then when we do come down, we do get a really nice rejection. This would have been a great long, to be honest, regardless that we are in a break and retest. I haven't talked much about the indicator, but this is called the VIX fix. Let me pull this up. To explain it simply, when you see these large green prints, it means price is likely to reverse. That is literally the only way that I read this. When I see these large green prints, I'm looking, are we about to reverse? This is kind of some secret sauce. This isn't included in the indicator, but yeah. So we got that there. That was a little bit of an added confluence, especially at this key level. If I had the DOM opened up, I'm sure I would have seen some sort of order flow confirmation, some sort of absorption. With this position, you could have adjusted your stop loss and TP. I think I put my stop loss, this low right here. TP could have been adjusted to that flip zone wherever you wanted, but this would have been a really good trade. The flip zone also could have been a really good break even because, as you can see, we could get a little bit of rejection, then we bounce back up. But let's say you missed that trade. We then broke below. So now we're looking for what? That break and retest. As you can see, we kind of get that first tap. Let's see, that first tap off that break and retest. Yeah, so this would have been 57 points, and you would have swept that current session low. So if you just took that short immediately after we broke and retested, that would have been a good trade. And even running lower, what was that, like 70-something points? The immediate break and retest of this level would have been a good setup. We then break back above, retest the flip zone, really important zone. As you can see, we've been kind of consolidating around that. This rejection pretty much confirms the gamma environment for the rest of the session is going to be negative. This is a really important zone again because we got another break and retest, a break above. We get another retest and we deliver higher Obviously, this wouldn't have been a great trade because it's against the trend. However, we are back in that ranging environment, and as you can see, we are starting to range a little bit. So longs do become a little bit more favorable. Still not something I'd really want to take because we are in a downtrend with negative gamma. Like, there are a lot of other counter confluences to it. As you can see, big trend down. Overall, very big trend down. So I don't want to really long off of this level. I want to get that nice clean break and retest. All right, and you're going to see here again, we get another break below, and then we immediately come back up and retest this level, break below, retest. And let's say you entered here, you put your short position at the midpoint of this level, stop at the high just above this level, targeting this low or even this low, and then going break even. This would have been a good trade, break even at that, swing low, getting taken out. There was a lot you could have done here. This was a very prominent level, and a lot of opportunity was made off of it. As you can see, we are in kind of that chop environment now, which is pinged by the indicator table at the top right, range. It was swinging there from trending to ranging for a little bit. This could have been a good trade, even in the chop. This could have been a good trade over here. Let's say you had missed that. These are all theoretically like decent trades. So again, we are just ranging inside of this level. We want to see a break below as we're already in that downtrend again. It would be more favorable to see price break below this level and look for a retest to continue down than to break above and look for a retest up. As you can see, we got that solid breakdown, strong candles down, sweeping the current, range lows. Right around here is where I'd look for that retest back up to that level to then trade down to the current session lows or other key levels. As you can see, we then start to trade up a little bit. We just edge this level, and then we finally got that retest of the midpoint. You also could have entered at the bottom of this level. There was a lot you could have done. There's still current session lows to be targeted, a lot to target. This would have been the best setup of the day. We're in that break and retest on that trending down. This is a beautiful break and retest. Again, we're in that kind of ranging market, so we're not expecting this short-term pump up to hold, especially off a key level like this. And I want to notice the SMTs. So this was really important. There's a micro SMT right here, especially in key levels like these. SMTs and price in general just not correlating as much around these key levels is really important, especially if ES is also in a key level and SMT forms. It is a very strong confirmation that a reversal is about to happen. So we have our first kind of micro SMT right here. Let me mark that out. Boom, boom. And I'm pretty sure for this trade, there was actually another SMT. Let me double check this. Yeah, so let me grab this. I just want to show you guys and mark it out, these SMTs. What is happening? There we go. To show you guys that these stacked SMTs, typically, especially in these ranging environments, we're ranging right around a key level, and we're having stacked SMTs at the midpoint of this key level. This could be something where a breakout is about to happen. You could have entered off that first SMT and, put your stop at a high just above this level, or this high, or this high. I personally would have put it to the furthest high from the level and that kind of cluster of highs there, just because the other highs are low resistance liquidity and we could form another SMT and deliver lower. As you can see here, I'm pretty sure we have another SMT. Let me mark this out. Yep. And this is the SMT, the final SMT, I should say, that really puts in the move. The other two were kind of indicators with small reactions. But this was the SMT, you could say, that put in the move. Let me mark this out again just to visualize that. And again, let's say you missed these first two SMTs, you could have gotten in on that last SMT right there. That would have been a great trade still too. You could have targeted, these current session high or session lows rather right here. Would have given you a pretty solid 4.37 RR. There was a lot you could have done with this trade. Could have again, entered at this midpoint, entered right after the SMT. It was just a very simple mechanical trade, especially towards the end of market. This was just a very clean setup for the time that we were in. Yesterday, I showed this as well by playing around with my position, but it's not necessarily where you enter. It's about when you enter. If you're entering at a good time with, favorable market conditions in a key level where, a reversal is about to happen, a short-term reversal in a long-term or a higher time frame downtrend, your entry alone lets you have a lot more leniency of where you put your stop loss and your take profit depending on your risk management in your account. As you can see, we continue down all the way. You could have targeted this, full session, AM, EM. And yeah, there we go. That was really all it was for today. That's all she wrote. Really, really good day. Hopefully one of these days we get a not so good day where it's a little bit harder to decipher these trades, but so far I would say it's been pretty simple. And that's how it should be a majority of the time. It should be pretty simple. But there will be some days where it's harder to decipher whether or not a position is good to take. So that's it for the TOD of today, the trade of the day. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.